Okay, so it's going.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I just came from. I have a good friend of mine that I worked with. He's a master mechanic. He's really cool. Well, yeah, he's always been kind of a hero of mine, and he needed me to come over because he has cancer. To come over and help him out with some yard stuff, and then when I was getting ready to go, I was a part of like a group message, so his daughter or whatever. Like his whole family was gonna pitch in, and me, like so his family plus me was gonna pitch in and help him get rid of this gigantic pile of limbs that's been there forever. And so I went to go help him. And so I show up, I park, and I just start helping. I don't talk. I'm just going into. It's really loud because the wood chipper and everything. And his lesbian daughter's girlfriend, who I've never met. I've never even met his daughter. The only daughter I've met was Emily, which is just some chubby girl, and she's nice and everything, but she seems kind of stupid. Um, and she came up to me and said, "Oh, hi, I'm his daughter's girlfriend." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. So she's the lesbian?" And she was like, "Yeah, she's a real lesbian." And I said, "Okay, yeah." Dan told me that he was having some issues with that, and I told him it was really stupid. There's no reason to have issues with your daughter based on what she likes to lick. I don't know. Like that's kind of weird. But I kind of like felt this vibe, like they were his entire family kind of is anti him, kind of like my family at some time or another, because we have 2/5 of the population is of a different species. So so I can identify with that. But if everybody hates you, there's probably an issue. And I've spoken with him before about his racism and xenophobia, his thoughts about Muslims and his feeling towards gay rights. And what I told his daughter, when I met her, I was like, oh, I like lesbians. Lesbians are cool. You like Bernie Sanders? And she said, who's Bernie Sanders? And I said, well, Bernie Sanders has been for gay rights since I was. I should have even thrown in, like, before transgender was an issue. It was an issue with him, and he thought that those people should have equal rights as well, because everyone should have equal rights. Right. Just like Martin Luther King said, it's not just about the black people; it's the white people and the yellow people and all the entire population is relevant and should be a part of the public discussion. And so that was his stance on gay rights. And I told her, I was like, hey, well, he's running for president, all this kind of stuff, and he's beating Hillary. Well, he's beating Hillary in like the way that he's gaining more momentum, and he's constantly getting more, and she's constantly maybe getting a little bit, but staying about the same. So who's winning? Time's the enemy. People need to learn who he is as soon as possible, so that we can start progressing as a society, right? Because you want a person with a centrist view, and so that's how I feel about Bernie Sanders. But so I saw him wander off, and I was like, oh, well, I owed him some money. I bought a car from him, and I've been making payments and stuff. And, this was the last payment, so I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just go take him his money, because I don't want to hand him a bunch of money in front of his family. Or something. I don't know, that's just weird. Like, usually you exchange money, separate from the populace. And so I took out the money and said, oh, I didn't know how much it was. I knew it was probably about $300. So I told him, I was like, here, here's the money. I don't know how much it is, but that's what I got right now. It was like $280. And I told him, I was like, hey, so since we're away, like, you want to hang out and maybe talk to me for about 5 minutes? Like, does that seem like a small request? I've come out here, I've worked for you for about 2 hours. You have plenty of fucking help. This is not my fucking problem. I have a back injury, like, something's wrong with my spine. I hurt it at work. And, like, hey, would you like to take a break for about 5 minutes? Because I need to take a break anyways. And you just want to talk. And he said, and just, like, flat out, like, the first thing he said, like, so weird. He said, well, if you want to talk about Bernie Sanders, I don't want to talk to you. Yeah. And I just said, okay. So that's usually what I do when, like, people say some, like, random crazy-ass shit. I just say, okay. So it can be as insane as possible. Like, I was at work and some guy said that we should kill all the Muslims in the world. And I said, okay. That's not weird at all. But I just say, okay, and I walk away, right? But this is a personal friend of mine. And this is someone that I've done a lot for. Like, a whole bunch. Like, I'm the only person he's been able to count on. For a while. And he can count on me. It's just when he gets emotional. When I don't like people. I don't let people take advantage of me. So if they're irritating me, like, 'cause, I don't know. But so I said, okay, well, we don't have to talk about that. Just anything. Like, I've, had a mental breakdown, and it just keeps on happening, and I need to change something. So, I could talk to you about that, or, I could talk to you about, like, oh, you lost your job. Would you like to talk about that? Like, we could discuss what you're doing. You said you're doing some things. That's great. But he was like, no, I want to get back to work. I said, okay. So I go and I go back to work. And then, I see him again. I'm just, I try again to, like, connect with him on a human level because, I don't know, there's, like, a backlog of work already building up, because the wood chipper can only chip as much. And I'm just, my back really hurts, And I even reminded him, I said, do you know how much I work? I work 70 hours. I work 70 hours a week. Please just go away. But whatever. I work like I work like 70 hours a week. This is my free time. Would you mind talking with me for a second, because we haven't talked in weeks, and I care about you, and y'all got this. I'm the plus one. And he was like, and while I was saying this to him, he was like, you can get back to work, and I was just, okay. So I walked off and came back and I told him, I was like, hey man, because I walked to the trash can and threw him over here. And then I walked back, and I told him, I was like, hey man, I'm going to take off. And, and actually before that, like, his daughter said, I was actually why I walked off was because I was, his daughter's girlfriend came up to me and she said, like, hey, could you put the beer down? And how much? Because I was just grabbing a whole bunch of stuff, moving it, grabbing a whole bunch of stuff, moving it. This was kind of repetitive and stupid. I was moving more than anybody else, but whatever. I don't really care. And I told her, I was like, hey, I don't really want to be here. And she was like, why? And I was like, well, Dan's kind of a dick. I came here to help me. He's got plenty of help. Y'all seem to got this. And when I was actually just trying to discuss that, hey, your family's come together. This is really nice. He said you can get back to work. And I was just thinking, like, hey.
I thought you went to hang out with your friend.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. Like, hey, we'll do some stuff. And then, like, when because there's natural breaks, And he was just, like, he was acting really odd. So, I don't know. That's kind of weird. I don't think he's my friend anymore. Well, I mean, he hasn't been my friend for a while. That's what I've kind of, like, been a little bit dismissive of him. Is because, like, you're kind of a dick. Like, that's your daughter. And he just pretty much, like, excommunicated her for a long time because he didn't agree with. And so I thought maybe this was a change. Maybe he was just like, yeah, you're my daughter, and I love you, and you love me, and we're together. We're both together as one in this family. But no, he's still, like, just randomly bringing up that I told his daughter, because I was like, oh, yeah, I met your daughter's girlfriend. Seems like a real bright cookie. I like her. She didn't know who Bernie Sanders was, and I told her, the facts that he's been for gay rights, and you're gay, and you have kids. She has 2 kids. 2 kids that are probably, like, 10 or something, around that age. And they're real cute, Hispanic kids, whatever. They're nice. They look like nice boys. And a girlfriend, like, she's his daughter's girlfriend, because gay people can't get married even though they have a family. Even though they have a family, there's still something wrong with them. So I guess those kids are, I don't know, but that's just such a weird, like, when we were talking, and we're going to talk about that, but, just saying, like, why homeless people can't have a dog, like, what's the consequence? What's the consequence of gay people being married? Like, what does it do? And, like, the immediate Republican talking point is just like, well, family is the most important thing in the world, and you're gonna dirty it. And Bernie Sanders is like, no, we're gonna make more of them. We're gonna make all these kids that don't have families. Like, there's gonna be a greater population that can take them and take care of them and love them and care for them, instead of having them, in the institutions that are horrible with pedophiles and damaged kid. Like, Matthew's like a damaged kid. Like, he's gonna probably end up in one of those places. And being around just, like, a whole bunch of shit all the time gives you a false perception of reality. Like, if you think you're constantly, like, surrounded by shit, right? Because you look around in the world that you live and you see that it all is irrational and horrible and it hurts people. And it's hard and it's cold and it's cruel and it has no emotion. There is no feeling. There is no oneness. There is just individuals interacting with one another. If you grow up in a world like that in an institution, and that's exactly what an institution is. It is a cold, cruel, and sterile.
Yeah.
If you grow up in that, that's how you're going to perceive reality. So you might perceive, like, everything is, I don't know, but Dan's kind of a dick. And if you have any issues about gay people being bad or, like,
so it seems like maybe
okay.
he He
So,
knows
I'm
his
supposed to be
daughter
talking to
is
you.
gay.
I'm not talking to the camera. I'm talking to you.
His daughter is
Okay.
gay.
Oh, yeah, he knows his daughter.
He's
They've
just,
been
he
together
doesn't
for-
want to discuss it. He doesn't want to acknowledge it or talk about it. It's just, right?
Yeah, so it's like ostrich syndrome. Like, you know, if
Like, it's just
if
the
I don't see
elephant
it,
in
it
the
doesn't
room.
exist.
I know you're gay, but we're not going to even...
Yeah, and I'll be civil, right?
Yeah.
So that's so what that is that's political correctness. Yes.
Right.
All right. So you're gonna be politically correct. Like, I hate you, but I'm not supposed to. So I'm gonna pretend that I don't.
But maybe without addressing the issue and being honest and having an open discussion with his daughter,
They
like,
just
it's
don't
not
discuss
going to
it.
go. It's not going to move forward. It's
Yeah.
just going to stay.
Are you talking about arrested development? Is that what
Yes.
you're describing right now?
Yes.
And what does that do? That hinders development.
Yes.
It actually stops it.
Right.
It's arrested, like a black man. You know, and who passed those rules? Who passed those rules that made it disproportional? I would say the Clintons. Go Bernie. Yeah. It actually Hillary Clinton. She was like strongly vying for mandatory maximums, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're just like, hey, look at all these black people. They're committing crimes. We need to stop them. And she said, yeah, we need to make them heal. Like, that's literally what she said. We need to make the young black man heal, right? And so we'll just put him in prison, and other black people will see that black people are in prison. But you don't see the people in prison. You just live your life, right? And so you live based on the rules, right? But if the rules are irrational and don't make sense or actually counterintuitive, you might do those things. So, like, you would think rationally, like, what's the harm of smoking marijuana?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. In this country, you might want to talk to some of the black people that are in prison and still in prison because of the things the Clintons did, and say like, hey, how has marijuana harmed your life? I've been in prison my whole life. That kind of fucked my shit up. You know? But really, it's a harmless drug, and there's so many benefits to it, and it makes people happy. It makes people happy, and actually it was a big issue in Vietnam because it made people pacifist. So people can actually think through social situations, which is human interaction, and think like, hey, I could shoot you, or I could just avoid the conflicts. Like, hey, why are we here? Oh, and then you have the hippie movement and all that stuff.
Made you a lot nicer.
It made me very nice. I actually ran into a guy at the gas station. This guy is one of the Vato drug dealing guys, but he's a friend of mine. He's not a scary guy. I make fun of him, you know, because all those people aren't scary. The funny thing about people that you meet that come out of prison and work hard, so the people that have jobs that come out of prison, they're all delightful human beings. They are wonderful, and he's the kind of guy that'll kill you. Like if the probability of him getting in trouble for killing you, but he could benefit greatly from it, I'm pretty sure he would do it. He is a pretty low class guy, but he's a low class guy that likes me. And so instead of killing me, or instead of being rude to me or being uncivilized, he's extremely civil with me and actually really interested because he knows that I care about him and I love him because I see all people as equal, and I treat all people as equal. But when and that's something my boss, he's a Mexican immigrant, so he says butt funny, kind of like
But
kind of like a lot of people from Mexico can't say beach, they say bitch. Accents are funny. Okay.
I have red.
Abby,
eyes.
shut up. Your eyes are red? You got red
I
eye?
have water in it.
Uh-huh.
A little bit.
Abby,
Because Sophie let me shine at this one.
Abby, shut up. Abby, no, you're just vying for the attention. Get the fuck out of here. Bye, Abby.
You.
Okay.
Shut up.
Okay.
Shut up.
Go away.
Shut up.
Abby, you're ruining it.
Shut up.
Okay. So that's my lovely daughter, and I love her, and she's the apple of my eye. I think she is the best human being that is ever gonna live. She's fantastic. Okay, so I was talking about this guy, and he waited in his car until I walked up, and I saw him, and I was like, hey, what's up, buddy? He said, hey, what's up, Patrick? You know, and I was like, yeah, things are cool. I just came from Dan's. Do you remember Dan? You know, I was helping him. And I didn't say anything. I try not to say horrible things about people.
oh, so this was today?
Yeah, just a second
Yeah.
ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And in Texas, you can only buy alcohol after 12 o'clock on Sunday because of Christian ideology, right? Separation of church and state, not here. They're like, Sunday morning by church, right? And Jesus was against institutionalized religion. Oh, yeah, but they have a picture of him on the cross statue. The people that killed him are like, yeah, that's our hero.
Okay, so you saw
That's
your
weird.
friend.
Institutionalized religion. That's funny. Okay, so we had to wait like 4 minutes, and I only need a small amount of time to explain everything. Like when you go into like one complicated issue, you know, like it takes maybe a little bit longer. But just like the basics, just like who's good? Is Martin Luther King good? Yes, Martin Luther. So I talked to him about Eisenhower, Roosevelt. I talked to him about physics, how things function. I talked about Newton's laws. I talked to him about Eisenhower and what he did, and what World War II was the end of the war to end all wars. So everyone was going to be a social democracy. We were going to destroy fascism. We were to avoid communism, and we were just going to be the leaders, right? You need to shut the fuck up, Abby. And God, you suck. Go away, Abby. Just go away. Yeah, we need to cut that out. So you need to learn how to fucking edit. Goddamn fucking kids. And I love Abby so much. So I was able to break down my argument to something like really simple. Do you like Martin Luther King or not so much, right? You ask any person, and they're gonna say MLK all the way, unless they're a dick, right? So that could be a pretty simple rule. Anyone that would say like, hey, I don't much care for Martin Luther King, that person's most likely a dick, because that's insane. Because Martin Luther King just stood for equal rights for everyone. He didn't care about race or religion or anything, Jew and Gentile, black and white. He didn't give a fuck. He just wanted everybody to come together as a whole and make the world a better place.
Right.
You know, like heaven on earth, right? Because what's easy to do is if you have justification in the opposite direction. So, hey, the world can be as shitty as possible, and actually the harder it is for you, the better your next life will be. Well, say there's no next life. Say your existence, your sole existence in the world is just gonna suck, and that's it. Because when your nervous system goes away, so do you. Your central nervous system, what makes you a human. Just like with the abortion thing, like after you develop a nervous system, yeah, that's some kind of life, right?
Right.
And life is important, and you should value it. So like, yeah, I'm pro life, but like after birth, like it continues. Like we all live and we all exist on this planet together, right? It's a round world. That's why I think it's ridiculous to have any kind of like nationalism or I'm better than you. Like nobody's better than anybody. Maybe on like certain levels, but biologically, genetically, everybody's basically the same. Like some people are smarter and some people are dumber, but you know, people are fundamentally the same. And there's smart and dumb people in every race and every little niche of humanity. So what's the conclusion? That everybody likes MLK, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bernie Sanders stands for everything Martin Luther King stood for, because he died. And he died, what was it, like, I don't know. It was quickly after he said, like, hey, we need to take this country back. Brown people, white people, black people, we need to take this country back. He died. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just saying that he lived for a while and he was a revolutionary. But then when he started getting into politics and started saying, like, hey, how would you like me to... Well, I'm sure he didn't say it, but I'm sure it was in the back, in the mind of many people, like, hey, why doesn't this guy just run for president? Yeah, that'd be a great idea. Shit, that would be horrible. If it was a Republican running for president, they would say, fuck yeah. You know, we don't care if he's black, white, Jew, whatever, because all we care about is green. All we care about is money, and we want more and more profits all the time. So we don't want to just make, like, a certain amount, and then we say, like, all right, here's our limit. We've made this much now. It needs to, trickle down, right? So we need to make life good for everybody, because we have enough now. But enough is never enough. You always have to have more. And that's the basis of our... that's a basis of communism. That is what communism is, and Marxism is capitalism. Communism is capitalism. It's just the opposite. But so capitalism is a polar opposite of like Marxism or I don't know. I'm getting agitated. Okay, so I was able to explain this to an intelligent, stupid guy, and he admitted that he didn't understand a lot of what I said. And that's why you have to, like, break things down. But when you're only given a few minutes, it's cool, but I'm pretty sure he still perceives me as a good human being. So that's nice, because that's my underlying message.
Cool.
So what do you think about all that?
I think that was an exciting day.
Yeah.
And very productive.
And any day can be exciting.
in
Any
many
day.
different ways.
But it always helps if you
So.
smoke a bowl before you do it. That's what I think.
Okay.
And I think it's a good message.
Great.
Happy high people everywhere. That'd be great. Instead of what do we have, like sad drunk people everywhere? They cause a lot of wrecks. So if people are happy, right, it's a good thing. You know,
They
like
just
in
sit
Houston,
there.
they had all the people with the baseball bats, like hurting people on the streets. You know, because and they called it road rage. Like, hey, maybe like why we never see that as like maybe it was the heat or that we needed to fix the traffic. No, even if the traffic is at a standstill, why would anybody like think like, you know what I should do right now? I should get out of my car and I should grab an object and I should start beating someone to death. This is really gonna be a solution. So what that is, if you really look at it, like if you look at all the protests and you look at all the people that act irrationally and stuff, you know, like if you're in traffic and you think that getting out of your car, even for a little while, to hurt somebody is gonna help things out, it is not. You are going to go to jail. This is not logical. So when people are so pissed off, they're doing stupid shit. When you get angry, you actually get dumber. So if people are so pissed off that they're doing stupid shit, maybe we should look at the fucking problem. Why are people so pissed off? Because they don't even know what's going on. They just know that it sucks. Everything sucks. And then when you have a guy like Bernie Sanders that says like, you know why it sucks? Because you don't have the fucking money. You don't have the fucking. They have the fucking money, and it's not. They robbed it from you. All the time, every time you pay taxes, and you don't pay taxes, it's the middle class. The middle class pays taxes, and that's the dream of poor people. We don't even want to be rich. We just want to make 50 grand a year. But you know what? That's never gonna fucking happen because those jobs are. Anybody that has those jobs is just holding on to those jobs, right? Because they know that, dude, you fire anybody that makes $50,000 a year, and you take away whatever like advantage they have, like social, right? They're gonna be working at fucking McDonald's.